this box. Okay guys, so today it is a very exciting video. I'm Grant with Quake LED, and in front of me is a brand new product for all of you people that drive a brand new Jeep Gladiator. So in this box are a very exciting product. It's our new taillight for the Gladiator. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what we have on the inside. Alright, so lots of protected padding. Looks like you got some instructions, a little bag of wires, and the actual taillights themselves. Very well protected in here. Let's see if I can pull one out or if I have to do them together. Alright, so there's a look of the actual taillight itself. So you can see we kind of decided to release a round version. Every other light on the Jeep is round pretty much. So these are going to tie into overall aesthetics. Instead of a plastic housing, we use a real nice die-cast aluminum housing that gives you a real aggressive look. Super bright reverse light separate from the actual tail light itself down here. And then some little quirks and features. You've got a nice bottle opener on the side. One really neat thing about these tail lights is that there's actually two different modes for them. So out of the box, they're plug and play. If you do have the blind spot monitoring system on your Jeep, you're in luck because these do have the harness adapter for your blind spot monitor, and mounting points are just, you take out your old taillight, slap it in this, and you're good to go. But the cool thing is, it's plug and play, and then you're gonna have a halo running light. These white sections here are gonna be your brake, and then they flash for your turn signal. We also decided to have a little fun, and so these have what's called a light hacker mode. And so that's what's included here is some extra wires. So when you do light hacker mode, essentially what you're doing is you're splicing into your front turn signals in order to get a sequential turn signal on the taillight. So you have an amber sequential turn signal that goes in the direction of your taillight. Super neat effect. It does require you to run a little bit more wires. So we're gonna go ahead outside to our Jeep Gladiator. We're gonna pull the old ones off. I'm gonna show you how to install them using both methods, as well as how to switch over to that blind spot monitor. So let's go, guys. What's up, guys? So we're outside. It's a beautiful day in Colorado, so figured might as well get some sunshine. We're here with our Jeep Gladiator, so let's go ahead and rip these old ones off and get the new taillights on. So it's a pretty simple process, and you're not gonna need too many tools. But the first step to getting the factory taillights off is going to be to take an 8mm socket and remove the two bolts that are in the inside of your tailgate, here and here, and then for the other side, here and here. Alright, so once these two screws are removed, there's two more tabs that are holding this taillight to the Jeep. All you have to do is essentially pull towards the rear of the tailgate. The first time you do this, the little rubber grommets that hold the little balls in place are pretty tight, so you will have to give it a firm yank. So you can see I kind of pulled it out a little bit first, and then it's literally straight back. To actually remove the taillight, like all Jeeps, you're gonna pull down on the little red keeper, push the black tab, pull out. It's that easy. Alright guys, so if your Jeep Gladiator is equipped with blind spot monitoring devices from the factory, you're going to want to transfer those into the new taillight so that you don't have any codes or anything like that. With the blind spot monitoring device from the factory, you can see the little module is plugged right here inside the factory taillight. You're going to want to transfer this over to the new taillight, obviously, so you can maintain that feature and also not throw any codes on your dash. It's held in with 3 Phillips head screwdrivers, 1, 2, and 3 right here. So we're going to remove those, and it will literally just come right out. So once the 3 screws are removed, you will see literally it just kind of unplug, or comes up right on out of here. And then you're gonna wanna pull down on the little red keeper. You're gonna wanna push down on the black tab. And this is kind of wedged in there, so it is easier said than done. I do kind of just push down the tab with my finger. I grab the wires a little bit, although I'm not putting too much pressure on them when I tug. We're gonna put this blind spot monitoring device into our tail light. So, as you can see, it's gonna sit with the white spot, the blind spot monitoring device, facing out through the side of the tail light. So, we're gonna go ahead and tuck this down inside. And you can see it lines up to those 3 mounting points absolutely perfectly. So now that the blind spot monitor is successfully in place, I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. So I'm gonna run this wire in and literally just click it into place, push the red keeper to lock it. So, like I said earlier, there are 2 ways to wire up this taillight. One of the options is fully plug and play, and that's what we're gonna show first. So it's pretty simple. If you're gonna just operate them in that direction, you're gonna come back over here, you're going to plug the taillight back in, waiting to hear that little click, and then the tail light goes back in the same way. So you can see these 2 little rubber grommets here on the Jeep are going to line up to these two little balls here on the actual back of the tail light. So we're just going to go ahead and line this up visually. You literally just push it into place, make sure that rubber grommet is sealed nice and good, and then we're going to go ahead and tighten down the hardware. So just to operate the taillights as normally in their plug and play mode out of the box, that's all it takes. Literally 2 bolts, unplug it, plug it back in, and we're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what it looks like functioning in its standard mode that it comes shipped out of the box in. And then we'll go ahead and delve into the light hacker mode for those of you that wanna activate the sequential turn signal. All right guys, so if you are still watching, that means you would like to tackle light hacker mode. So you'll notice on the back of the tail light, there's an extra wire hanging out, we have some quick connects, and we also have a bunch more wires and stuff. Well, what is all this stuff? So in order to do light hacker, as I mentioned in the video, Jeeps are not set up from the factory to have a sequential amber turn signal because their turn signal is actually flashing brake. So in order to do a sequential turn signal, we have included fender light adapters. So this wire is going to run one from your driver's side fender light and one from your passenger side fender light all the way down the frame of the Jeep to the back. So that way we're going to steal turn signals from the front. So that's what these little adapters are for. And we will pre-run our wires just to make it easy. We also provided this brake light adapter. So everything is still going to be plug and play. But this guy, there's a plug underneath the tailgate of the Jeep Gladiator that we're going to unplug, put this in between, and then run up to both sets of taillights so that we have an active brake signal. In order for the sequential turn signal to work, this is a little special driver, or I don't know exactly what it is, but you do need these pieces to make it work. So you do have to do a little bit of modification to the wires off the back of the taillight in order to do this. So let's go ahead and get a close-up shot. I'll show you exactly how to set this taillight up for light hacker mode, which will activate your sequential turn signal on the actual taillight itself. All right guys, so page 4 of the instruction manual, you'll notice there's a little diagram up here on the top right of the page. This is definitely the most helpful diagram as far as what wires go to where. So definitely use that photo and follow along with this video, and you should be able to figure it out, because it does get a little tricky, but with the male and female plugs that we use, you can't really mess it up. So essentially the first step to engaging light hacker is to unplug all of the quick disconnects on the back of the light. So you're just going to go ahead and separate. There's a yellow wire into a blue wire, and there's also another yellow wire into a blue wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to grab this light hacker module, and we're going to go ahead and start making some connections. All right guys, so once everything is unplugged and you have your light hacker module, let's start with the easiest connection. So coming off of the actual taillight plug itself, there's going to be a yellow wire. It's a female version, and there's a male version right off the light hacker module. We're going to plug that into each other. So simple, yellow to yellow. These little grommets are really good. Just make sure on the male end that there's enough that you can actually slide in and make contact. And this will make a fully waterproof tight seal. So you're going to connect that. Then you'll notice there's an extra yellow wire that comes out of the grommet of the actual tail light itself. So we're going to take the blue wire that comes off the actual light hacker module itself and plug that in to this little yellow wire that comes off of the tail light. Alrighty, so now we have a couple more blue wires, and then we also have a brown wire. So the brown wire off of the light hacker module is actually going to be what connects from your brake leads themselves. So this will connect off of the plug that's underneath the tailgate. Each one of these wires will run to each tail light, and it will run to the brown. So I'm going to go ahead and use some Scotch tape and label this brown wire as brake. Just so that way, because I'm going to pre-run the wires, I'll know which one plugs into the brake and vice versa. So this green wire is going to plug in to the female side of the other blue wire. So that's a pretty simple connection. So you can see blue, green. And once again, you can just follow the photos on the wiring diagram, but it is fairly straightforward because of the male and female plugs. You can't really mess it up too good. And so this blue wire is then what's going to connect to the actual turn signal leads that we're going to run to the front of the Jeep. So it will be one for the driver's side, one for the passenger side, and it will plug right in. So I'm going to once again label that as turn. And labeling it just helps me notice for when I pre-run the wires, which one's going to plug into what, although it would be easy enough to reverse if you did mess them up a little bit. Alright guys, so the light hacker module is installed. There's a 3M adhesive, so you can go ahead and peel this off and stick it somewhere down inside the tail light. I usually happen to just kind of stick it down inside there, where it's not going to get pinched or anything like that. All right, let's get back out to the Jeep, and we're going to pre-run some wires, so that way we can just plug the tail light in and we'll be good to go. All right guys, so in order to activate the sequential turn signals in the JT tail lights using light hacker mode, we have to steal the turn signal from the front fender lights. So on the driver's side, it's pretty easy. You're going to reach kind of down up here on the inside of the fender well, and you'll be able to feel the plug before you see it. You'll pop it out with a screwdriver or a panel popper, and then insert this in line, run this wire along the frame to the back. Make sure you route the wire away from the exhaust or any moving or hot parts that could potentially melt or damage the wire. To access the plug on the passenger side, you'll notice that normally we have a lot of wiring and lighting controllers, but there's the battery, and then you're going to have grounding cables on the firewalls. You can't just reach over and grab the plug like you can on the driver's side. So you're going to have to access the plug by actually peeling back the inner fender well liner. It's really not too difficult. We're going to insert a clip from our JL headlight installation video right now, which will show you how to do it. All right guys, so to access the plug, which is located right about here, we are going to just peel back a little bit of this inner fender liner. To do it, we're going to go ahead and start out by popping these two plastic clips down here, and we're essentially just going to remove the plastic clips as needed until we can get to that fender light. So there is one 10mm bolt up here that we might have to remove as well. So we're just going to go ahead and just kind of pop these guys off. All right guys, so I have the inner fender liner removed. So 1, 2,
3, 4, and then this rivet I didn't. So these 4 rivets were actually connected to these holes on the fender. And so I was able to actually pop the fender holes off the back of the rivet so that you still have the look of the rivets in your fender. And you will be able to reuse those. And we can see that pass-through plug is hiding right there. Sweet. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this plug by once again pulling back on this little red keeper. This little red lock pin, pushing down on the black tab and then pulling straight out. And you can see this is where the pass-through plug will go. So there is a way, if we want to pop this out of the body and remove the grounding disconnects on the battery, we can pull it up into the engine bay. So that way, if we do ever have to access this plug again, it will be easier to access.
All right, guys, so I've ran the wire from the front passenger side daytime running lamp all the way along the frame rail up into the back of the taillight. I have labeled it so that we know which wire to plug into on the back of the taillight. I've left myself plenty of slack so that way when I pull the taillight out, I have plenty of room to work with and unplug it in case we have to pull them off ever again. So now, after you have done that on the other side as well, we just have to run the brake wire. So this requires you to get down underneath the actual Gladiator itself, and there's a plug that's located pretty much center right beneath the tailgate. So let's go ahead and hop underneath there and get a tight shot of what this looks like. All right, guys, so we are up here underneath the actual Jeep itself. You can see that right here is the plug that we're gonna tie into. So it will slide off of a little plastic clip up here, which you can see right there. And it is a pretty tough plug. You can see we've already spliced it for a brake wire before, but we have a plug and play adapter that's gonna go inside, so you won't have to do this. So we're gonna unplug it, and it is a super tight plug the first time you unplug it, but just push really hard down on this black tab, and then you will be able to actually free the plug loose. Ours is a much looser plug and will be easier to work with. So we're going to plug our little inline adapter in line, and you'll hear it click, and then we're gonna plug this one in line, and you'll hear a nice little click as well. And then you can zip tie this up. It really depends on how clean you want to make it, but I usually zip tie it up to all the factory wiring. But we ran one of these black wires, one over to each side of the taillight. All right, guys, so we have ran the turn signal adapter wires from the front daytime running lights to the back and labeled them. We have also just tied in to the actual brake plug that is located beneath the tailgate, and we have ran one of each of these wires up through that little gap we showed you, and right here as well. So we're gonna grab the taillight, and we're going to start plugging it in. So once again, from before setting up in light acro mode, we will have our brown wire coming off of the actual module itself, and that guy is labeled for the brake. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and plug this brown wire off of the light acro module into the wire that we have labeled brake, making sure that we have a nice good connection on that. And then we're going to take the wire, the blue one that comes off the plug that's labeled turn signal, and we're going to plug that one into the wire that we have labeled turn. Then we're going to take this plug and plug it in just like you would your factory taillight. All the way till you hear that click. So now you can go ahead and throw the taillight in and replace those two 8mm bolts, and you guys are done. All right, guys, so figure I'd give you a slight side-by-side comparison. So here's the upgraded Quake LED taillight, and then here's the factory LED taillight. So you can see ours has the sequential turn signal going, the halo daytime running light, and then I don't have them turned on obviously because I'm not in the Jeep holding the brake, but it has an extremely bright reverse light, much brighter than stock. I think that they look a whole lot better, a whole lot more aggressive, and definitely tie into the aggressive nature of the Jeep itself. Visit QuakeLED.com to learn more about our product offerings for anything LED related. Visit more for Quake LED!